This is a 2023 Jaguar F-Type R Coupe. And for my English friends, this is a 2023 Jaguar F-Type R Coupe. A stunning showstopper of a coupe with a symphony-worthy V8 under the hood. This specific F-Type is painted in an ultra-metallic gloss finish SVO premium paint, and it does cost an extra $4,550. Yeah, that's a lot of money. But then again, just look at it. This is a gorgeous, beautiful paint, and man, it's hard for me to say anything other than worth every penny. This specific F-Type also does have the more powerful of two V8 outputs offered, and also all-wheel drive. And finally, this specific F-Type is in Michigan in March, and that means it also has winter tires installed. What can you do? My name is Robin Warner, by the way, an experienced engineer and magazine editor, and huge car nerd and enthusiast of V8 engines. And look how happy I am right now. I review all kinds of cars, from a $25,000 Ford Maverick to a $425,000 Rolls-Royce Cullinan. I'll happily jump into Honda Accords, BMW M3s, and Porsche 911 GT3s. And I have fun every time. Please subscribe and join me. The base price for a rear-wheel drive Jaguar F-Type Coupe with the less powerful of two V8 engines is just over $80,000. If you go with the more powerful engine and all-wheel drive, that bumps up the base price to $109,775. Yeah, six figures, not cheap. And my test car did one better with many options and costs $121,685. Okay, with that, now is a good time to pull over and show you around and inside this car in a bit more detail. Not that much has changed to the styling of the Jaguar F-Type since its introduction in the 2014 model year, though it did get a slight update in 2021. Why, you might ask? Well, it's stunning. It's always been stunning, and it remains stunning. Let's take a closer look. Starting in the front of the car, we've got this low, menacing, mean-looking nose and this long hood that just swoops back to the steeply raked windshield and onto the rest of the coupe. We've got a couple of vents in the hood right here to release heat from a very lovely thing underneath the hood. And then we've got these sharp, piercing, narrow headlights right here with these nice single elements inside it, and then this daytime running element beneath that. Some vents down here, this beautiful gloss black lower front lip spoiler here, nice little F-Type reminder here in front with this grooved hexagonal pattern grille right here, and of course the cat, the Jaguar logo right in front. With all that just beauty and presence into the front of the car, that really is enough. And yet, in my mind, something even better is under the hood. First of all, the hood itself is beautiful. These nice gas struts opening up clamshell style to reveal this beautiful 5-liter supercharged V8 longitudinally mounted this way. Just fills the space perfectly. We've got this nice twin intake setup here that goes into the center to feed the supercharger that then feeds all 8 cylinders so nicely. And we do have on both sides strut mounts from the shock towers here back to the firewall here to add a bit of structure, and further mounts here at the front of the shock tower to connect it on both ends to really add some structure to the front end. Really nicely done. Yeah. This thing is something. Like I said at the beginning, it's a symphony. Looking at the car in profile, I mean, this epitomizes sports car and elegance and beauty. This is just a lovely swooping fastback rear bias shape that I just absolutely love. I'll go ahead and put the specs up on the screen so you can check that out. and let you know that I have a lot more information in the description. I prefer the coupe over the convertible myself because I absolutely love this sloping, sweeping line that just flows all the way back to the rear end. Similar with this curve in the door that just kind of curves into a crease and kind of becomes the top of the fender flare for the back end right there. Everything about it just has this like real nice flow to it. All of it just flows in one direction. And not only does it have a beautiful shape, it physically gets wider as you go to the back before finally narrowing in at the end here. Just really knockout proportions. It's hard to do any better than that. 20-inch wheels on the Jaguar F-Type that we're looking at here with these big and beautiful red calipers flowing out between. Now there's two colors here. You've got this polished metal here and then dark surrounding it. And the effect on the road is really something. Let me just go ahead and show you it rolling on the road a little bit there. I just love that motion you see in the wheel. However, this particular car is wearing winter tires. Yes, you can drive this car year round. And yes, I applaud you if you set out to do that. But for this reviewer, for this moment in time, it's just not quite the same. Just like the front of the car, the rear of the car just looks fantastic. It completes the design perfectly, I think. You do have this beautiful side view Jaguar logo now pouncing this way. Jaguar lettering right there. F-Type, R. And then you have this nice diffuser style rear end looking proper, and this all real, beautifully built quad exhaust tips. And boy, oh boy, do they let out a sound. I absolutely love it. This is just, from nose to tail, one of the prettiest cars on the road today. You get 14 cubic feet of cargo space in the back of your F-Type coupe. You know, this is a heavy slope, a super steep rake to the rear glass and everything else. So you don't have a lot of depth here. It gets pinched off, but this is really a decent amount of room. You could definitely comfortably do a weekend trip with this car and plenty of space for luggage. So yeah, totally adequate. Before we even get in the car, there's something beautiful to look at, and that is these door handles say Jaguar on them right there, right? And this is letting me know that the car is unlocked. If I want to lock it, and the side view mirrors fold in as well. Now, when it's time to get in, see that small button there? And you walk into this beautiful kick plate right here, this polished metal kick plate with the R logo on it. On the door itself, you already have this beautiful stitch work across and this two-color leather interior, the very dark with this very light tan working very well together. You have the usual controls right there, and then you also have the seat adjustment controls right there, as well as 3-position seat memory and this beautiful little polished metal perimeter around that, which is a really nice touch, I think. You do have a few controls to the left of the steering wheel there, and the steering is power adjusted, both tilt and telescope, with that right there. Look at these gorgeous, beautifully stitched, very supportive seats right here. Again, you have the beautiful stitch work, you have the two-tone leather, you have these fantastically deep upper bolsters right here, and pretty darn stout lower bolsters right here. And the headrest itself also has the R embossed into it. I love that. The seat is just like the interior in general, really expertly crafted, well done, and just beautiful to look at. Now, up there, that looks fairly normal, right? Well, it's not. First of all, you have this beautiful headliner work right here, and in the center, move back this privacy panel here to expose this panoramic glass roof. This is fixed. This is not a moon roof, a fixed roof, but it is absolutely stunning. Lets in natural light, and I just think it's the perfect touch to this car. Of course, you sit very low in the Jaguar and have this nice, big, thick steering wheel to hold on to. Nice R emblem at the base of it. You do have a lot of media controls right here and cruise control options right here. Yes, that is a heated steering wheel. It is part of the Climate Pack, which also includes a heated windshield. It's probably hard to see through the camera, but there's tiny little metal wires that go vertically up and down the windshield, and that helps to very quickly defog or even defrost if you need to. And you get dual zone climate control with that as well. Push button start is down here. And that springs to life that 5-liter V8 that we've been talking about. And no, it does not get old. There is your fully digital instrument cluster lit up. You can see speedometer on the left, tachometer on the right, information in the center. And next to that is your 10-inch center console touchscreen, which has the usual plethora of things built within it. Beneath that is your 2-zone climate control right there. Now, that's the temperature for either zone, right? But if you push it, then you can use these dials to either turn on the heated seats or the ventilated seats right there. So that's a really clever, space-efficient way to have both heated and ventilated seats. Beneath that, you have a fairly standard-looking Prindle. You do have a cigarette lighter style 12-volt port right there, volume knob and power right there, and some fun controls right here. This turns on and off stability control. This one might be my favorite. This is the Sport exhaust. Do you want fantastic sounding engine or incredibly fantastic sounding engine? Turn this on and you can hear it. Things just get a little throatier. So, Sport exhaust off. Fantastic. Sport exhaust on. Oh, so good. So good. Oh, I love it. This turns on and off your auto stop start when you're at intersections, and this one right here will manually lift your rear spoiler if you want to have it up all the time. It was down when I was doing the walk around outside, but I'll cut to it up when it's rolling down the road so you can see what it looks like lifted. This style right here is how do you adjust drive modes. I'll get to that in just one moment, because I first want to tell you that yes, you do get a couple of cup holders and some more storage down there, along with a couple of USB ports, a micro SD card, and another 12-volt port right there. Okay, drive modes. This style right here. You have rain, ice, snow mode, normal, and dynamic mode, which is basically sport mode. You really don't need anything else in a car like this, and we'll probably spend most of our time in normal mode, but we might have to play with sport here and there. Also, real quick, the dial itself has a neat little trick. It illuminates if you're in rain, snow, ice, and also illuminates if you're in sport. So that's nice to get redundancy, to have a couple of different ways to visually tell what mode you're in. Now, I should point out one thing. Even when you're in dynamic mode, that doesn't necessarily mean you have all the dynamic settings on. And that's because, go up to the screen, slide over one, dynamic eye. These are the options when you're in dynamic mode. So if I turn it on, you can see you have the adjustments to change whether you're actually in dynamic mode for individual parts. Anyway, just good to know. All right, well, we've sat around long enough. Let's get back to the drive. All right, let's dig into the powertrain. Here in the US, you choose from one of two outputs from a supercharged 5-liter V8. The lower base output is still quite healthy at 444 horsepower and 428 pound-feet of torque. Really not bad. But this being the more powerful means that it has 567 horsepower, which is a very nice number. And also a pretty darn mighty 516 pound-feet of torque. You get that torque between 3,500 and 5,000 RPM, a pretty darn nice range. By the way, the horsepower peak comes at 6,500 RPM, and man, it does not disappoint. You might sometimes see these engines referred to as P450 and P575. that is how much horsepower you make when it converts to metric. That is metric horsepower figures. Regardless of how much horsepower you have under the hood, you do get the same 8-speed automatic transmission. Yes, it is a slight bummer that it is an automatic, but it is a very good automatic. It shifts very quickly when it needs to. It shifts very smoothly otherwise, and even when it's shifting quickly, it's pretty darn smooth. You also have these nice paddle shifters to work with on the steering wheel if you want to have a little bit more control of what gear you're in. It's just pretty darn seamless and works well in every situation you throw it in. It's hard to stump this thing. Now, a little bit less fun, it has to be said, is when you get the higher output engine, all-wheel drive is standard. So you cannot have rear-wheel drive and 567 horsepower in the Jaguar F-Type, at least from the factory. If you get the lower output engine, you can get rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. It's available in both configurations there. But honestly, all those numbers are pretty much irrelevant when you listen to this. Oh, come on! What a fantastic, menacing, glorious, rumbly sound from that 5-liter V8. Oh, I just love the way that Jaguar tuned this exhaust. That sounds incredible. And that was the quiet exhaust. Don't forget, we have a loud exhaust button, and I haven't turned it on yet. Let's do that one more time. Oh, come on! Oh, come on! Oh, come on! That is such a beautiful, glorious sound. That is addicting. And it is a darn good thing that we're on a road with very little traffic because, whew, you get to experience that noise just a little bit. I absolutely love it. In my opinion, it is between this, the Lexus LC500, and the C8 Corvette for the best sounding V8 sold today. Simply incredible. But of course, there is another side to that, and that is fuel economy. And as you might guess, it's not great. You would not buy this to be more green, certainly. It gets 16 miles to the gallon in the city, 24 miles to the gallon on the highway, 18 combined. Not stellar numbers. Supercharged, not turbocharged, don't forget. So that is spinning and taking horsepower to make horsepower all the time. So that's part of it. And yeah, it's just a big displacement engine. While fuel economy numbers are very important, I bet you can guess that is not nearly as much fun as accelerating, especially in this thing. Yes, I tested it. Oh, definitely yes, did I test it. Let me show you right now. All right, everybody, time for an acceleration test in this 567 horsepower Jaguar F-Type. I do have it in dynamic mode, and I do also have traction DSC, so basically the traction control part of dynamic stability control off, but I also have all-wheel drive, so I'm not expecting much wheel slip. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Okay, coming to a complete stop. Bit of brake torque, a little over 2,000 RPM off the brake. Oh yes! Oh my God! Jaguar says 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, and I believe them. I definitely believe them. But also, who cares? What glorious noise! But okay, also what glorious pull too. Wow, we shot off the line, all-wheel drive, no wheel spin, off we went. Didn't matter we have winter tires on. Man, fantastic acceleration in this Jaguar F-Type. Now, normally in a car like this, I would definitely want to do a handling test, but the winter tires, it didn't feel right to try to test its lateral limits on tires that just simply aren't up for the job. So I definitely did test the handling in a different Jaguar. I also got to review a Jaguar F-Type convertible last spring. That did not have winter tires on it. I definitely exercised those tires a bit. So I have a link showing up right now, and I have one in the description as well. So if you want to see handling in a Jaguar F-Type, check that out. Now, when it comes to ride and general comfort, this is pleasantly surprising. You do have adjustable shock absorbers in the F-Type, and in comfortable, it is. This is a comfortable car to cruise around in. It has plenty of compliance. It has enough suspension travel to absorb all the bumps and heaves in the road that you would generally get on pavement, and it's tuned well to give a perfectly comfortable experience. Now, it is a little bit louder than a more luxury-oriented premium car, but it's not bad. And again, a lot of what you hear is the very mellow tones of this V8. Genuinely, I was pleasantly surprised by the experience in general. And that's true on roads like this or on the interstate. I tested it there as well. Let me show you that. All right, everybody. Time for a quick stint on the interstate. See how the F-Type feels in normal traffic. In fact, we are pretty close to rush hour, so it would be heavier traffic than normal. I just want to see how it's like on the interstate, if it's a pleasant experience or a little bit tough. Anyway, let's find out. Okay, cruise control is set at 78 miles an hour to go with traffic. At that speed, the engine is turning well under 2,000 RPM, although I don't know the exact amount because I changed the display. Because this is a fully digital instrument cluster, I can actually change the different settings that I see. And one of those is called the driver assistance screen. So instead of having two digital gauges, including a tachometer, I have like the open road in front of me with mountains in the background and the nose of the F-Type, and it just gives a completely different perspective on the instrument cluster. So this is the digital driver assistance screen. Yeah, something different. By the way, in actuality, there are not mountains in the background. Now, while in many ways this is a luxurious car, this is not a luxury car. This is a sports car first and foremost. That means it's not as quiet as some other luxury cars might be, especially considering the price. That said, it's not bad. You do get some road noise, but you do not get that much wind noise. And a big part of what you're hearing is the low, mellow hum of that V8 just churning along. And in the comfort setting, the suspension is plenty compliant, so it goes over bumps and heaves in the road and expansion joints without any trouble. And I've got plenty of luxury in here. The heated steering wheel is on to keep my hands nice and warm. Heated or cooled seats depending on the climate. Dual zone climate control, which means climate control for each passenger in the car. And I didn't mention it earlier, but we do also have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity. So yeah, this is actually a really pleasant highway cruiser in a lot of ways. It's just a bit louder than other cars. This is certainly not the quietest car that costs six figures, that's for sure. But yeah, I'll take this car anywhere. If you're speaking objectively, as cars go, this is not the best thing out there. It's very expensive, and it does have some shortcomings, especially considering the price. Even in the sports car realm, there are definitely cars that feel a bit more intuitive to drive aggressively, giving you a really good sense of the road. This certainly isn't bad for that. It's just not objectively the best. And yet, when it comes to an experience of just enjoying being in a car, enjoying the sounds, the smells, the feel, the G's, all of it, looking at the beauty of the car, looking at the beauty of the surroundings of the car, this is really, really hard to beat. Driving a Jaguar F-Type is having an experience. It's doing something that is memorable. It is so much easier to create memories in something like this than just about any other car on the road today. What the Jaguar F-Type does is stir emotions, heighten the senses that car enthusiasts, driving enthusiasts seek to have heightened. And in the technology-laden world we have today, that is just about priceless. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you for watching. And if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you showed me by giving it a thumbs up. Doing so helps me out quite a lot, and I'd really appreciate it. And if you're interested in something like the Jaguar F-Type, I would highly recommend checking out the Lexus LC500. I did mention it earlier. That V8 also sounds pretty darn incredible. It's naturally aspirated, not quite as powerful, but man, is it just a throaty, rev-happy, glorious thing. And the Lexus LC500, it has some strengths. It definitely has some strengths. But from a pure handling, driver-focused, really feeling the limit point of view, maybe you'd actually rather check out the Porsche 911 GT3. I was very lucky to be able to try that. And from a behind-the-wheel driving fast experience, that thing's really hard to beat. And frankly, you should just check both of them out because they're both incredible in their own way. And from there, I've reviewed a whole bunch of stuff by now. Something's gonna pop up on the screen next to me. Hopefully it's something you're interested in. And if you watch it, I definitely hope you like it. Okay, goodbye for now. Oh, and hello. Hello! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!